The second movie in the Deadpool trilogy is by far the most emotionally captivating movie in the franchise. The sequel took a very drastic turn from the first one and introduced new engaging characters with incredible backstories, next-level action, and world-class cinema.
Who are you? I'm Batman.
It also delves into serious issues around family, redemption, and self-acceptance. The movie made good use of its unique tone and characters to explore universal struggles with identity, loss, and the search for connection. I made a video essay about the first Deadpool and why it's the most tragic origin story of any superhero. I'll drop the link below so you can check that one out too. Wade Wilson, or Deadpool, in the sequel is much more different. With the help of his incredible abilities and powers, he's now a professional contract killer, taking out a whole gang of mafias and traffickers on his own. Wade was happier than ever. He had Vanessa permanently at his side now. What at all could go wrong this time around? Well, due to Wade's constant mayhem on the mafia, they tracked his location and decided to hunt him down. That very evening, the couple finally made the decision to have a child of their own. Wade at some point expressed his insecurity about having to train up a child because he never experienced true love and care from both of his parents. And personally, family has always been an F word. In the middle of the discussion, their crib gets invaded by the mafia he went after. Even though Wade was able to take out most of them, the one guy, the very guy who got away earlier on, was the same guy who pulls the trigger on Vanessa, taking her life instantly. And in this scene, we get to see a very different side of Wade Wilson. His normal silly jokes are absent. You can see fear, anger, pain, and despair in his eyes. After coming into contact with this man who just caused him unimaginable pain, he hugs him, and seconds later, the two men got hit by a truck.
Papa, can you hear me?
Wade was not the same guy anymore. The loss of Vanessa crumbles his world in an instant. Vanessa was his anchor to something good and genuine, the one constant in his chaotic life who accepted him as he was. After a while, Wade gets used, yet thanks to his regenerative powers, he can't escape his grief. No matter how many times he tried to end it all, his body stubbornly heals.
I can't believe he's still alive.
This is the irony of his immortality, to become a prison, forcing him to survive his pain over and over and over again. He can't join her, can't follow her, and it torments him to the core. This was until he was taken into the X-Men camp by Colossus for rehabilitation. By inviting Wade into the X-Men camp, he wants to give him a new purpose, hoping that the structure and ideals of the team will offer Wade Wilson a sense of direction and a healthier outlet for his pain.
We were gonna start a family.
The Access House for Mutant Rehabilitation is portrayed as a rehab center to help young mutants learn how to control their powers in a safe and supportive environment. But in reality, it functions more as a facility that uses cruelty and oppressive methods to control the young vulnerable mutants. The headmaster and fellow staff members view mutant abilities as a defect that needs to be corrected. The entrance of this facility says, "Give your children a human future." And they have another banner saying, "Mankind, not mutant kind." They subject young residents to physical punishment and psychological manipulation. This manipulation by the headmaster is outlined in his favorite saying, "Blessed are the wicked who are healed by my hand."
Blessed are the wicked who are healed by my hand!
This is a clear portrayal of the rift between the humans and the mutants in the Marvel universe.
Fucking mutant.
He's an evil man who seems very unassuming in public, but has deep hidden hatred for mutants and everything they stand for.
You are an abomination!
One great addition to the Deadpool sequel is Cable, a cybernetically enhanced soldier from a dystopian future. He possesses enhanced strength, a machine arm, and an array of high-tech weaponry. In this movie, he travels back in time for a singular purpose: to prevent the tragic demise of his family at the hands of Russell Collins, the young mutant who was getting tortured at the X's house. In Cable's future, an older Russell becomes a powerful and vengeful mutant who takes out Cable's wife and daughter in an act of brutal retaliation. The death of Cable's family leaves him devastated, and the only way he sees to prevent this tragedy is to travel back in time and eliminate Russell before he grows into a violent person. We get to see the signs in real time when Russell decided to attack everyone in the X's house. His incredible powers were on full display as he fired everything ablaze. This drew the attention of the media and everyone in the vicinity. Not long after, the X-Men arrived to cool down the situation. Colossus, Negasonic, and the new X-Men trainee, Deadpool, tried their best to calm the situation. After Russell was eventually taken down by Deadpool, the boy finally confessed to why he was lashing out, revealing the treatment he was going through at the hands of the headmaster and the staff at the X's house. This instantly resonated with Deadpool. Being a victim himself, he knew firsthand how it was to be put in a terrible situation and feel powerless. There and then, Deadpool also lashes out, risking everything to protect Russell at that point. This act of care and support makes Russell begin to trust Deadpool and see him as a true ally. Wade's effort to defend Russell makes Colossus mad and disappointed in him. This scene shows the contrasting ideologies between Colossus and Deadpool when it comes to using force and playing dirty to achieve justice. Colossus believes that mutants and superheroes should rise above violence and embrace ethical responsibility. Unlike Colossus, Deadpool has no moral reservation about using lethal force or bending the rules if it means protecting those he cares about or achieving an outcome. Deadpool sees Colossus' restraint as naive or overly idealistic, arguing that villains won't be stopped by mere diplomacy or moderation. Wade and Russell were apprehended and sent to the Icebox. The Icebox is a high-security prison designed to contain and suppress mutants who are considered dangerous or have broken the law. The collar worn by the inmates deactivates their powers, effectively neutralizing any threats they might pose. For mutants like Wade Wilson, whose healing factor is crucial to their survival, the collar is very dangerous, making the prison a place where mutants are vulnerable and can be controlled easily. Trapped in the Icebox, Russell finally opens up to Wade, showing a very different side of the hot-headed young mutant. No matter how hard Russell tries to connect to Wade, Wade just ignores him like a desperate side chick who doesn't want to leave you alone, even after ignoring a text and calls. What I said isn't personal to my life in any way, shape or form. It's quite understandable why Wade was being cold and distant. Unlike me, Wade is overwhelmed by his own grief. At this point, Wade feels like he has nothing to offer but sorrow and pain. Around this time, Cable decides to attack Russell in the Icebox. The security at the Icebox stood no chance against the super soldier. Wade decides to at least defend the boy. By some mere miracle, Wade Wilson was able to break the collar around his neck, making his superpowers kick in immediately. He was now able to square off with Cable mano a mano. In the middle of their fight, Wade openly admits that he doesn't really care about Russell. This very comment gets overheard by Russell. This leaves him feeling abandoned by yet another adult figure, making him lose hope in love and connection. Being a young, isolated mutant who's endured abuse and mistreatment, Russell was desperate for someone to care about him and to validate his worth. This rejection pushes Russell down a further path of anger and resentment. After the demise of Vanessa, Wade couldn't stop dreaming about her. In these dreams, Vanessa constantly tells Wade that his heart is not in the right place. Her words suggest that Wade has to confront his guilt, learn to forgive himself, and discover a sense of purpose, probably by helping others. One thing Vanessa said that really stuck with Wade was, "Children give us a chance to be better than we are." The message was now clear. Wade Wilson must save Russell from a destructive path.
Your heart needs to be in the right place. I'm not gonna abandon this kid.
To achieve this, Deadpool assembles his own version of X-Men, X-Force, a team of unknown heroes to help him rescue Russell from a transport vehicle, taking him to a high-security prison. The X-Force was made up of Deadpool, Domino, Bedlam, Shatterstar, Zeitgeist, Vanisher, and Peter. Besides Deadpool and Domino, the rest of the team sadly lost their lives tragically. Domino is a skilled mercenary and a mutant with a unique power of luck manipulation. As Deadpool and Domino were figuring out how to rescue Russell, Cable appears to come for Russell as well. This leads to a huge fight with the super soldier, and in the end, the truck transporting the mutants crashed, and Russell comes out with Juggernaut, his new ally. The friendship between Russell and Juggernaut is toxic. It's based on mutual anger, resentment, and a desire for revenge. Deadpool tries to explain to Russell how much he cared for him, but Russell was hell-bent on revenge and nothing was going to change his mind.
I care about you because, goddammit, I care about you, Russell.
Wade was now back home after his failed mission. he gets visited by Cable to the surprise of everyone around him. Cable's ultimate goal is to save his family by stopping Russell from growing up to become a ruthless killer. The soldier from the future hopes that by recruiting Wade, they can find a way to reach Russell before it's too late. From the perspective of Wade, this is a chance at redemption.
Promise you'll give me a chance to put him on a different path.
Cable's visit signifies a turning point in the story, where both characters put aside their differences to work towards a common goal. It was now time for the final showdown. Deadpool and his team go after Juggernaut and Russell. Russell goes full mental on the headmaster. Returning to the rehab center for revenge is Russell's way of seeking justice for the pain inflicted on him. He sees this revenge as a part of healing and proving himself that he's no longer vulnerable. As Russell is bringing hell to the headmaster, Deadpool and Cable try their possible best to reason with Russell, but at this point, it seems too late. The boy is hell-bent on revenge. He will surely become a madman who goes around wiping out enemies with no mercy. No amount of sympathy from Deadpool was getting to Russell. He just wouldn't stop. Cable finally accepted the fate of Russell and decides to go for the kill. Deadpool, already sensing such a situation, puts himself in harm's way to take the bullets for Russell. Deadpool actually did this with a power restricting collar on his neck, which makes him very mortal now and vulnerable to death.
You sacrificed yourself for me.
But it was the best thing I ever did.
This sacrifice by Deadpool represents the first genuine, selfless act of love and sacrifice that Russell has ever witnessed, especially from someone he trusted. By seeing someone like Deadpool choose a path of sacrifice rather than vengeance, Russell finally believes that redemption and change are possible, even for someone as damaged as himself. Deadpool's sacrifice shows Cable that Russell's future isn't set in stone, and that genuine compassion can help steer Russell away from becoming the killer Cable fears. Cable goes back in time to save Deadpool from the bullets, and in the end, Deadpool finally came to the realization that family is not an F word.
You time-sliding son of a bitch. You did this for me?